Cameron Merriman, and outside of him, the 91 of Anthony Job. Row 3 to 18 of Austin Selleman, and the 36 car for Fast 4 Esports, it's Kobe Stidham.
In the final row for today, it's Brett Wheeler for United Sim Sports. Black Diamonds, Joshua Steinke rounds out your 8 cars in this field today for heat race number 3. Again, very quick times. Keep in mind, the separation for the qualifying pace chase, about 0.2 of a second from 1st to 7th, about 0.3 to the bottom of the board.
Yeah, everybody's so very close here in this Pro Series. The top 35 dirt sim racers in all of online racing, especially with the iRacing.com service, competing for a $25,000 prize pool. There's not much better than that, man, especially on a tight bull ring like the Fairbury American Legion Speedway. Kendall Tucker is on the pole of this one. There you see him right there in the Bear Archery number 00 car. Currently 7th in the point standings with 1 top 5 finish on the season. That came, I believe, last week at Knoxville. So he's looking to go back-to-back here with the top 5 finishes as we get to go green this next time by.
He was very consistent, very quick last week, but I'm also keeping my eye on Austin Selleman. Remember that win for Dylan last year, or last season rather? Austin Selleman made it a 1-2 for the family. Green flags out.
Kendall Tucker and Braden Eiler side by side, now trying to go 3 wide for the race lead. Give it to the 5 of Braden Eiler down the back straightaway. The 00 of Kendall Tucker drives it in deep, but Eiler will drive around on the outside, and Eiler leads lap number 1.
Tucker trying to work in the bottom of the racetrack. Eiler still preferring the cushion. Merriman trying to work the middle of the racetrack while Job tries to work. Contact behind. Austin Selleman gets shuffled to dead last. He and Joshua Steinke traded some tires. Cody Stidham and several cars are still fighting for 5th on back. They're losing ground to Job as more contact.
Lots of different lines being used right now. Is there some contact between Brett Wheeler and Joshua Steinke right there? Those drivers keep on going. Steinke almost gets spun around right there, falls to the rear of the field, but back up front, the race for second, I don't think is over yet. Kendall Tucker running way down by the infield tractor tires with the 17 of Cameron Merriman working the high side.
And all that scrapping still going on behind continues to build up a big-time buffer for everyone else. Tucker still feeling pressure from Cameron Merriman. The Merriman tries to show what he can do now on the cushion. Top 4 all still working the top line now. As one car does a cartwheel, Brett Wheeler is upside down. He's out of contention.
Yeah, Brett Wheeler upside down in the UDTV number 56 car. He'll have to come out of the B-main event later on tonight. 3 laps to go that time by the starter stand. Up front, it is all Braden Eiler, a winner with this series at Knoxville last season. As the race for second, they were side by side getting into turn 3. Here comes Merriman around the outside. He's got second down the front stretch.
Merriman makes it look very easy right now as Tucker tries to keep on some good pace. Still in decent position to move on. Merriman, though, hits the wall. White flags out. Final lap for Heat Race 3.
The number 5 car, Braden Eiler, right there on your screen. Down the back straightaway into turns 3 and 4. The elbows up, SimSport number 5. We'll go to victory lane in heat race number 3 here tonight at Fairbury. Second, we'll go to the 17 of Cameron Merriman. Third to Kendall Tucker. And fourth, making his first feature event of the season, the 91 car of Anthony Job finishes up 4th. 5th was Austin Selleman. 6th goes to Joshua Steinke. Then the 36 of Kobe Stidham and the 56 of Brett Wheeler rounds out the field in that one.
Interesting race, at the very least.
Yeah, it sure was. 4th and final heat race getting set to go here. And this is how the lineup. How about the qualifying effort tonight for Pennsylvania's Logan Rumsey? He's on the pole alongside the 85 of Tyler Schell. Row 2, the defending winner of this race, the F4 of Dylan Selleman. And outside of him, the 10K of Rusty Kruger. Row 3, the 14 of J.D. Brown and the 2 of Daniel Gow.
Last row features Alex Smulders. He was one of the quickest drivers in final open practices for tonight. And Dustin Griffiths rounds out the field. The interesting thing about our last runner on the board from qualifying is he wanted to be in these later heats. He got his wish.
Yeah, sometimes being in the later heat, the racetrack kind of widens out. It has multiple grooves. We kind of saw in the first heat race how everyone was kind of right up against the wall. And you saw a lot of guys venturing to the bottom, kind of running in the middle of the racetrack there, Justin. As this racetrack gets worn in, you'll see multiple different grooves become usable, and that's what the number 9 car of Dustin Griffiths is hoping for here.
Yeah, we see several different preferences, and I'm curious how this plays out once we get towards feature time, right? Because several different cars seem to still be prepared more so for the cushion compared to, say, trying to run against the tires. I'm expecting a few more drivers to run very low here.
Here we go. Logan Rumsey on the gas and out to the lead. He hits the wall in the entrance to turn number 1, but the 41 of Rumsey will lead him down the backstretch side by side for the second spot. Here comes last year's winner at Fairbury, the F4 of Dylan Selman, trying to take second, but couldn't make it happen right there.
Bit of a rotation coming off the corner now as Logan Rumsey pulls off and away. Tyler Shell up to second. Dylan Selman to third. JD Hollywood Brown tries to hold on to fourth. He's now stuck side by side though. Big slide from Rusty Kruger as he takes away the bubble spot.
Kruger driving the Jake Swanson Shock Technology. Number 10 K-Car takes over the transfer, but J.D. Brown back to the inside. Kruger with a big run down the front stretch. He'll have the transfer spot at the line. And now the race for the lead's getting heated up here as the 85 of Tyler Shell looks to the inside of Logan Rumsey.
Some back and forth, several positions, side by side, making a 3-car scrap for the lead with a bubble spot. Still side by side. Tyler Shell rotates for the race lead. That means Logan Rumsey has a car length advantage. J.D. Brown slides to the bottom next to the tires. He's now clear. He's got a comfortable 1.5 car length cushion now for the bubble spot.
Slider for the race lead. Here comes Dylan Selman. He throws a big move to the inside and takes the race lead. 4 laps to go, and new leader, it's the F4 of Dylan Selman down the back straightaway.
Back and forth now, starting to build up for second spot now as J.D. Brown works his way on forward, getting stronger and stronger at the bottom of the racetrack. Rumsey works up to the top with Dylan Selman. Over rotation behind him as Tyler Shell checks up Brown. Here comes Rusty Kruger as a result. 3 cars now scrapped for the final 2 spots.
Rusty Kruger's not out of this thing yet. The 2 lap to go signal that time by the line. Kruger runs 5th. He needs to get by one of these 2 cars in front of him. White flags out. Kruger pounds the fence at 3-4. That might be the end of his run right there.
Rumsey tries to go for the slide jump for the heat race lead. Dylan Selman going back and forth. J.D. Brown now holds on to the spot. Meanwhile, checker flag waves. Massive send for Kruger. Checker flag for Rumsey. He wins while Tyler Shell holds on to the final transfer spot after a great back and forth between Shell and Kruger.
And Logan Rumsey stole the win on the last corner, but we have so much going on the racetrack right now, Justin. We can't even keep track of it. We need like 8 camera guys right now to keep up with all the action going on the speedway as we get set to go for our first B main event of the night. 12 laps to distance. Top 2 will go to the feature. Tyler Ducharme, Austin Selman will be on the front row of this one. Then you see Ryan Mayer and Joshua Stanky. Row 3, Greg Lamy and the 36 of Kobe Stidham will make up the first 3 rows.
Final row for this respective consolation race to try and make their way in. Colton Hardy, Brett Wheeler, who tries to get himself upright after doing a full 360 and basically a cartwheel. After an incident at the back of the field, tries to calm on down and move his way into a feature race. It's been an up and down season for him so far.
Yeah, it sure has. It's been an up and down season for a couple of guys here in this first B main event. But how about Colton Hardy? He was sitting pretty solid, I think, in the point standings coming into tonight. I guess he was sitting back in 20th, so not the greatest, but Hardy's going to be starting 7th in this one. So he's got his work cut out for him in this one. But if the track, well, I'm guessing the track's going to be something like it was in that last heat race. And if it is, we are definitely in a show for this one there, JP, with, Ducharme and Selman up front. Those look like to be the odds-on favorites here, but a couple of hungry competitors right behind them.
I think the way the track is forming up definitely works towards Tyler Ducharme's way we've seen it with J.D. Brown specifically with the pace. The interesting mark, though, is going to be, is that going to be the case for Austin Selman? Because he seems pretty comfortable. We've seen he was one of the drivers, I believe was towards the top line. We'll have to see how he plays it.
Green flag is out for the first B main event. We got contact and 3 cars stacking up. We got one upside down. It's Colton Hardy. He bounces off an infield tire. That leaves 4 drivers in the front of the field going at it, I should say, for 2 spots. Your race leader on lap 1 is the 25 of Tyler Ducharme.
The discussions inside the infield tonight are going to be very, very intense right now as Joshua Steinke with a very intense battle with Ryan Mayer. Mayer over-rotates to the middle line, drops back to P4. Austin Selman prefers the middle line, but the top line for Steinke trying to carry the momentum. Not enough of a pull yet to get side by side with Selman down the back. Loses ground down the front stretch, 9 to go.
And Stanky hit the wall right there in turns 3 and 4, kind of bounced that right rear tire off the concrete. No harm, no foul. He keeps on going, and he's not out of it yet. Austin Selman out of the inside for the lead into turn 1, trying to get by the 25 of Tyler Ducharme. Here comes Stanky to the back bumper of Ducharme down the back stretch.
The 80 machine tries to work his way next to the cushion. Dimes the corner, following tire to tire. Slide now for Austin Cinnamon. He tries to win this LCQ. Here comes Ryan Mayer again to make it a 4-car scrap for the 2 spots to advance on. 3 wide for the lead. The 80 hits the wall. Top 3 now separated by 6/10. Halfway.
Ryan Mayer now up to 3rd with a mistake from the 80 car of Joshua Stanky. He's fallen back behind these 3 drivers. Ryan Mayer, he's not out of it yet, and the race for the lead is not over yet as Selman takes a peek to the inside of Ducharme off of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. New race leader, it's Austin Selman.
Selman tries to still work his way on the bottom of the racetrack. Tyler Ducharme still trying to use the top line. He works all the way next to the wall. Can he try and get back side by side? Not quite yet down the back stretch. Ryan Mayer, though, is in the wings. If anything intensifies with these cars, with 3 to go, the purple and black machine from Asylum is closing in.
3 to go. Ryan Mayer trying to pull it off here and grab a final transfer spot to tonight's feature event. Tyler Ducharme back to the outside of Austin Selman. These 2 racing very hard for an LCQ victory here. And Ducharme bounces off the fence and opens the door for Mayer as the white flag's coming out this time by.
Final lap for the first LCQ. Austin Cinnamon comfortably in P1. P2, though, very much up for grabs. Ducharme side by side off the corner, back into 3 and 4. Checker flag. Austin Cinnamon moves on along with Tyler Ducharme.
And a great move right there for Ryan Mayer, but was too little too late. He was not able to get by the 25 of Ducharme to take that final transfer spot. So it was Selman and Ducharme moving on, with Mayer, Stanky, Wheeler, Lamy, Stidham, and Hardy all going to have to try again next week at Eldora Speedway. We get set for our final LCQ of the night before we get to our feature event. It's going to be Cole Cabry and Rusty Kruger on the front row. Row number 2, it's the 52 car of James Edens and the 211 of Alex Smolders. Third row, the 74 of Adam Elby and the 2 of Daniel Gow.
Phillips Maple, we talked about him being involved with an incident with his teammate. Starts in 7th, with Dustin Griffiths rounding out the field for this one. We'll have to see how it plays out here, because it seems like several different lines absolutely came into play as expected, Chase. But the main thing is, it's almost come not necessarily towards the track itself, but again, to the driver preferences like it's been throughout the campaign. As we said, some drivers like to adjust their wings to drive low on the bottom of the racetrack and carry a lot of speed into the corner. Others like to try and carry momentum off the top line. Currently, though, you'd have to give a tiny bit of an advantage to the drivers who prefer that middle to bottom so far with some of these scraps.
And you take a look at this lineup, we've got 3 drivers that are inside the top 10 in points, which are the spots that actually pay money at the end of the season. James Edens 5th, Adam Elby 8th, and Rusty Kruger 9th. That is where they're at currently in the standings. We'll see which 2 of them will move on to the feature event. Cole Cabry, Rusty Kruger, green flag is out for the final LCQ.
Cole Cabry off to a good launch as James Edens works to the bottom of the racetrack once more. Nearly gets the race lead already as Kruger works his way up to the top line. Kruger up into the wall, 3-4 wide behind as the top 2 side by side.
Contact between Daniel Gow and the 14 of Dylan Schiebel. They keep on going. Schiebel to the inside of Alex Smolders back there for the 5th spot. Now 3 wide for 4th as Kruger and Schiebel get together, and that turns around to 9. And upside down goes Dustin Griffiths.
Griffiths out of contention now. He's now into the garage area, but James Edens trying to slide to the race lead. Cabry still working his way against the wall. Big pull once again. Cabry gets the lead lap. Edens once again, though, works to the bottom line. It's his preferred line for the Swindell Speed Labs driver. For Cole Cabry, though, he's not giving up without a fight. 8 to go.
Edens in the K1 Race Gear 52 and Cabry in the Max McLaughlin Racing 71 car. Going at it for the race lead, but meanwhile, here comes the 74 of Adam Elby along with the 211 of Alex Smolders. Those 2 guys are not out of this fight quite yet. We're only halfway through this one, so a lot of laps to go with Elby and Smolders giving chase to Cabry and Edens down the front stretch.
And last time by, Elby and Smolders were about a 10th or so quicker. Make it 2/10 quicker than the battle for the race lead. There's a chance they get there with 5 laps to go. Edens still works the middle line, still side by side behind them. Smolders preferring the middle. Now Elby preferring the lower lines around the bottom of the racetrack in the corners. Smolders moves out the cushion as he tries to reel in the 52 as he goes up to defend.
4 More to go this time by the line. James Edens has got a hornet's nest right behind him. Alex Smolders and his teammate Adam Elby trying to go by for the final transfer spot. Eden's going to do everything he can to get by Cole Cabre and give himself a little insurance here so he doesn't have to worry about those two cars behind him. But Smolders with a big run down the back straightaway. 2 to go this time by, and Edens is feeling the heat from the 211 down the front straightaway.
Smolders looking to try and bump its way in. The Canadian now makes it near side by side. Edens now goes to the bottom line, goes for a massive slide job for the race lead. Elby's up on the wall, crossover for Cabre. White flag as Smolders is there.
Oh my, 3 wide for the lead down the back straightaway. Only 2 going to the show. Contact between Smolders and Edens. More contact for the lead. They're going to wreck off the final corner, and it's going to be Cabre and Smolders going to the show. And that will knock out the 5th place driver in the points, James Edens. He's done for the night.
That's going to have major championship ramifications, and that may spark a bit of emotion, to say the very least. Edens, Smeebel, Dow, Kruger, Elby, and Griffiths do not advance. Man, we talked about some of the pressure for some of these races, Chase. We've seen some of that come into play. Now, that's going to potentially really hurt Edens' chance for a championship.
No doubt about it. What will happen here tonight for 35 laps around the Fairbury American Legion Speedway? We'll be right back here on DirtVision.com. Don't go anywhere. The feature's up next.
Race live. The greatest shows on dirt from coast to coast, and now worldwide for only $39 a month. Watch the World of Outlaws, NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars, the World of Outlaws Morton Buildings Late Models, and the Dirt Car Summer Nationals Hell Tour with one Fast Pass for only $39. Now, catch the greatest racing action down under with sprint cars, late models, and midgets from iconic Australian venues all year long. Live. Hundreds of races. One Fast Pass. $39 a month. DirtVision.com. Subscribe today.
Welcome back to the Fairbury American Legion Speedway for round number 3 of the iRacing.com World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car World Championship. My name is Chase Rodman with Justin Prince alongside. And Justin, we have seen some wild stuff already tonight, and we haven't even gotten to the 35-lap feature yet.
Yes, indeed. It's been back and forth, to say the very least, not just for the race leads, but for the transfer spots. We were expecting this intensity. We've seen it with the late models, and we've seen it with the sprint cars last season, where drivers know this is a tough place to try and work around and battle, but at the same time, if you can keep it clean, you can have a lot of side-by-side fighting throughout an entire scrap. In the end, though, talent usually rises to the top. The tough part's going to be now how the drivers adapt to this one to make sure they are all set to go and keep the respective cars clean for what's expected to be an intense fight for the race win tonight.
Yeah, I think that keeping your nose clean is going to be very important to success here tonight. But how about the guy on the pole of this race tonight, Cole Newhalton, who currently sits 10th in points, but really last year was not much of a factor as far as race wins go. Tonight he's done it all. Quick time and won his heat race. Can he be the first-time winner this year there, JP? He looks like he's pretty good tonight.
I think there's a strong chance for him. I would also put my money on Hayden Cardwell because of how consistent he's been around this track. We were talking about this a few moments ago as well, where you remember He was the one who came with the victory here in the late models. Some of that can, in theory, cross over, but the tough part is there's no fenders on these cars, obviously. You make contact with the tires, it likely leads in some cases to disaster. So he's needing to keep it clean. Keep in mind, the mid-pack's going to have some intense fights too, with Tim Ryan deep in the field in 10th, and several others like Nick Cooper having to start 14th.
And if things go anything like they did last week at Knoxville, we did not have a single caution. You talk about those big battles in the middle of the pack. While you're racing side by side like that, obviously it's going to slow these drivers down. And if we go 35 straight laps around this place, I think lap traffic could be a big factor here tonight at Fairbury.
Yeah, I remember it being fairly thick when we got long green flag runs at the last time it was here, especially with late model specifically I'm thinking about, where drivers were trying to run their own line. It can be difficult to try and negotiate that. That's where some of the wing adjustments can come into play and some of the adaptability. At the same time, you reach that at the wrong time, say if there's a close battle for the lead, that may be the difference between winning and finishing second with a chance for that traffic to become fixed tonight.
Let's take a look at the starting lineup for tonight's 35-lap, round number 3 race for the iRacing.com World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. On the pole, looking for his first ever win with the series, it's the number 8 of Cole Newhoffen, and also looking for his first Sprint Car World Championship win, the 22 of Hayden Cardwell. Row 2, the 5 of Braden Nyler, and young Logan Rumsey starts on the outside of row number 2. Row 3, the 27 of Colton Davis, and on the outside, the 2-time and defending champion, the 12 of Alex Bergeron.
Cameron Merriman starts in 7th tonight. He looks to have a merry night alongside your defending race winner at this circuit, Dylan Settleman for Fast 4 Esports. Shea Powell starts in row 5 alongside the former champion Tim Ryan, tied for second in the points entering this evening. Kendall Tucker starts in 11th this evening alongside JD Hollywood Brown.
Row number 7 will look like this. The 1X, that's the Little Hurricane Mason Hannigan. And outside of him, currently 4th in the point standings, the 35 of Nick Cooper. Row 8 making his first start of the season, the 91 of Anthony Job. And outside of him, the 85 of Tyler Schell. And there's your B-main winners, the 18 of Austin Selman and the 71 of Cole Cabry.
And don't forget about how crazy the second spot was for both the B-mains tonight. Tyler Ducharme held on and his by just a little bit, while Alex Smolders, bit of contact with James Edens, gets him in to run shotgun.
20 drivers for 35 laps around the Fairbury American Legion Speedway. We're in the land of Lincoln, Fairbury, Illinois, ready to go at it here with the greatest show on virtual dirt here, the iRacing.com World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series, the top 35 dirt oval sim racers on iRacing.com. Pace car pulls to the infield. The field in the hands of Cole Newhoffen and Hayden Cardwell, both looking for their first ever series win. Green flag is out, we're underway.
And a great launch for those drivers as Newhoffen works in the middle of the racetrack down to the bottom in 1 and 2. Here comes the diver running to the top line. Hayden Cardwell and the slick SimSport car takes the lead in 1 lap.
Hayden Cardwell on the top of the racetrack, doing exactly what he did with the late model series. He drives away from Cole Newhoffen down the back straightaway. Newhoffen down low, contact with the wall behind him as Braden Nyler smokes the fence, allows the 41 of Logan Rumsey to go by for third.
That's cost 3 wide, though, now for third position. As a result, as Rumsey now works the bottom. Merriman to the middle line. Ivor again into the fence. Several cars stack up behind as they look to try and find their way on through. Bergeron joins the top line train. Dylan Settleman along the cushion. Merriman now trying to get clear. Near contact with Ivor as Rumsey's near clear.
3 wide for the third spot. Logan Rumsey, the 17 of Merriman, and the 5 of Braden Eiler. Going at it now. Eiler gets by. Might have been some contact right there between Merriman and the 41 of Rumsey. Merriman gets shuffled back, and here comes Bergeron on the outside of Rumsey for fourth.
And a crazy start to this one. 29 to go. This upcoming time by as Rumsey can't get the momentum off the corner. Here comes Merriman now up to the cushion. Bergeron taps the right rear tire against the fence. Once again, Cole Newhoffen tries to run the bottom of the racetrack. Eiler still works up to his preferred line. He takes away second position, but the damage has been done for the fight for second. It's a 2-second lead already for Cardwell in 8 laps.
Hayden Cardwell absolutely on the move. Contact between Rumsey and Merriman back there for fifth. Now here comes last year's winner at Fair. Oh, big contact. Tim Ryan gets turned around. He keeps on going, and somehow we stay green, but Ryan falls to the back of the pack.
And Tim Ryan not having a great night in that heart of the field. We mentioned him starting in the teens. Now he's stuck among the drivers, fighting 3-4 wide. One car upside down. Alex Motors, still no caution. We stay green, all while the lead is separated by 2.3 seconds over Braden Eiler as the rest of the group continues to clatter the wall.
And I'll tell you right now who is on the move, the F4 for Fast 4 Esports. It's Dylan Semmelman. He started 8th. He is currently up to 4th. The driver that won at this racetrack last year is putting up a torrent pace, that time by a 12.102. He was nearly a 10th faster than Alex Bergeron, who lies just ahead.
The top part's going to be Cardwell. Ran a 12 flat last time by. He has the quickest laps of the race at 11.8. No one else has even reached that mark in this field. Separation between Settlement and Bergeron still is about 1 second or so. Rumsey also trying to close on in, but here comes the traffic. Anthony Job and Alex Motors right in front of your race leader.
Only 15 laps in, and we're already at the back of the field. The two drivers going a lap down, Smolders and Job. They go to the bottom and surrender their spots to let Hayden Cardwell go by. Cardwell with a big lead. He hits the wall right there. I don't know how many times he could do that right there just before he breaks that race car.
Caution. Yeah, this ain't a late model, and yes, the caution is out. Might be J.D. Brown. Cole Cabery apologizing on the radio. Might have been the trigger with that contact.
Well, we'll try and spool up a replay here as soon as we can. It looks like definitely contact between Cabery and Ryan, but I'm not seeing anything quite yet here as far as a caution or something that would bring out a yellow here. JP, have you seen anything yet here?
I believe we're going to see it right here, in fact. As you see, we've seen how crazy this grouping was. It would be a right around J.D. Brown. You can see battling Mason Hannigan, also Austin Settleman. Tries to slide next to the tires. Right there, smacks said tire, and there goes the caution flag.
So a very small one-car incident there to bring out the caution. That'll set us up for a double foul restart, which is going to be absolutely critical here for the F4 of Dylan Semmelman, who, in my opinion right now, I think has a car that can compete with Hayden Cardwell here. If he can maybe engage in a slider battle with him, I think he might be able to take the lead here. Oh, single foul.
Yeah, we're starting single file with the lap traffic as a pick. Hayden Cardwell is in very strong position to run away again. He wobbles off to the green flag. Job tries to run in front of the rest of the field. 3 wide behind as Eiler tries to gain up some ground. Finally get clear of the traffic. Bergeron moves his way to the top line.
And Anthony Job just trying to get out of the way as best as he can and not hinder anybody's performance. He will do so right there as he goes to the bottom of the racetrack at turn number 2. Allows Eiler, Bergeron, and Semmelman to all go by as they run in a freight train on the top of the racetrack. Meanwhile, the 22 of Cardwell is pulling away once again.
And Cardwell might have been the most frustrated out of anyone with that caution, but contact! Rumsey hit the side hard of Dylan Soderman. Caution is out as the 41 triggers it, and they're scattered all over the front.
And Rumsey looks like he was driving into the corner to try and protect from the 17 of Cameron Merriman and just kind of misjudged it. Runs right into the side of the F4 of Dylan Selman right here, JP.
Massive slide. At the same time, Dylan Soderman is doing the same line he's been trying a couple times, Chase. He's been trying to diamond it off about a lane lower off of turn 4 to carry a bit of momentum and use the banking as a ramp. Problem is, Rumsey was there, triggers the caution flag, punches us back out. Up once more, rather, with 15 green flag laps to go.
Yeah, remember, the cautions do not count in this series, so we have 20 laps scored. All of these laps under yellow will not count. And if it's like that last restart, it will be single file. But this time, Justin, there will be no lap car between Cardwell and Eiler. And Eiler's a young driver, man. We know how hungry he is for a victory. He got one last year in Knoxville, was very excited, and I'm sure he'd love to do it again here tonight.
Well, the team's very pumped up to try and see if he can try and get a good run in. He's the best of the Elbows Up SimSport drivers tonight after moving over to that organization during the offseason. He's got a difficult task ahead, though. Hayden Cardwell in control of the field. Green flags out. Opening up to the cushion goes the top 3.
And whoever hits the wall first is going to be at a big disadvantage here. Cardwell, Eiler, and Bergeron all make it through clean. Eiler a little bit sideways and squirming off of turn number 4. Here comes Bergeron trying the inside line.
Bergeron still trying to work his way clear for second, nearly gets side by side. Eiler still works up the cushion. Caution flag again. Once more, it's Tim Ryan this time.
Tim Ryan, for the second time this race, has been involved in some kind of accident, but this time it will bring out a yellow. He gets together with the 85 of Tyler Schell.
Yeah, and he's definitely got to be frustrated right now with how his night's gone with some of the contact. Yep. And just that squeeze effect, right, with how tight this racetrack is. You don't have a lot of space to try and get yourself back, say single or even double file. That time Schell, I think just carried a bit too much speed to try and get double file there.
Yeah, a little bit of a squeeze play right there between the 85 and the 98, but you got to think James Eden's had a bad night, Tim Ryan's had a bad night. Even last year, en route to his championship, Alex Bergeron had a bad night. So I think that every driver, is going to have a bad night. Tim Ryan cannot hang his head. He cannot give up yet because we still got 7 long weeks to go after this. Green flag about to come back out. Can Braden Eiler make a move on Hayden Cardwell?
And Cardwell a bit better of a start this time. Eiler now tries to keep his right rear tire off the fence. Bergeron and Dylan Sullivan all line to line as Cardwell starting to lose a bit of that advantage he had early on. Still, Eiler nearly over-rotates. Bergeron still tries to work the cushion.
Everybody migrating up to the top of the speedway now. Hayden Cardwell leading the train as Eiler hits the wall right there. Nearly contact there between the 12 and the 5. Now Bergeron, he'll drop the nose and go back to the bottom of the speedway. Big slider on the exit of the corner. Bergeron hits the wall, gets the right side tires off the ground, and loses the spot to Cameron Merriman.
That was the biggest hit of them all tonight. Now 3 wide, squeezes his way past Dylan Silverman to get the spot back. Back to third, but the question is, can he get a recover in terms of time back? He's lost about half a second to Eiler as a result of that hit. 9 to go.
Alex Bergeron trying to get back in the saddle here and drive away from the drivers behind him. He is doing so, but a great race going on for fourth. Here comes the 00. Kendall Tucker to the inside. He gets by Cameron Merriman and trying to go by the 12 of Alex Bergeron as well.
One of the craziest races of the season now as Tucker tries to work to the bottom of the racetrack, use some momentum to move his way around the circuit. Bergeron, though, gets clear, still holds on to P3. Still, though, it's Cardwell leading by already a second and a half.
Yeah, Hayden Cardwell, man, if we didn't have a caution, he'd probably lap half the field in this one. Just absolutely picture perfect on the top of the speedway. Have only seen him maybe hit the wall once or twice. And other than that, man, he has been absolutely on point. You see him right there in the JDR Graphics 22 car driving away from the field. Back behind still Eiler, Bergeron, Tucker, and in fifth, it's Colton Davis having a fantastic run.
Yeah, the luck finally coming together for the 27, but for tonight with 4 laps to go, Slick Sim Sport, they have gotten their stuff together for this race. For Hayden Cardwell, he tries to become a winner not just in the late models, and not just the champion on that side with this year, but also a winner in the sprint cars. He's 3 laps away from his first career Sprint Car Series victory.
And I've got to give a tip of the cap to Tyler Ducharme, who started second to last in this race. He started 19th. He currently runs in the 7th spot. A great run for the 25 car as he battles with the F4 of Dylan Selman. White flag coming out this time by for your race leader, the 22 car of Hayden Cardwell.
Cardwell, clean racetrack race is official. Needs to make no mistakes. Tim Ryan ahead. No factor from behind. Final corner for Hayden Cardwell as he backs it down.
Cardwell down the front straightaway across the line. He will win his first career victory with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series on iRacing.com. Hayden Cardwell dominates tonight at the Fairbury American Legion Speedway and will extend his points lead after 3 rounds. Braden Eiler second, Alex Bergeron third, Kendall Tucker and Colton Davis will be the top 5, followed by Dylan Silliman, Tyler Ducharme from 19th, Nick Cooper, Tyler Schell, and Austin Selman from 17th to 10th as JP takes you down the rest of the running order.
Logan Rumsey comes home at 11 tonight. Remember, had some great speed, but then some of that contact with a caution flag leads to him just to 11th, while J.D. Brown finishes in 12th. Shea Powell finishes 13th with Cole Newhoff, the pole sitter, struggling early on and couldn't quite recover the pace he had early on in the night. 14th place is where he runs. Mason Hannigan celebrated a birthday this past weekend. He gets to add a little bit of a present of a P15 run tonight after making the feature. While Tim Ryan, oh boy, 16th tonight, 1 lap down. He got lapped on the white flag lap. Anthony Job 1 lap down in 17th. Then, this is interesting. The final 3 drivers, including the 17 of Cameron Merriman, did reach an incident limit, those 3 were unable to finish the race as a result. Smulders, Cabery, Merriman, DNF.
Yeah, that's a result of a quarter-mile racetrack here and lots of contact being made, so not a good night at all for the 17 of Cameron Merriman. As we get set to go with some of our interviews here tonight, we'll be talking to the top 3 right after this commercial break. We'll be right back here on DirtVision.com. We are back here at the Fairbury American Legion Speedway in the virtual victory lane, and we're talking to a first-time series winner, Mr. Hayden Cardwell. Hayden, it might be your first sprint car win. Obviously, everyone knows you're a late model champion, but how cool, how special is it to win with the sprint car series after really being known as a fender guy?
Oh, it feels great. Just all the hard work that's been getting put in these cars the past months, and to even be on the podium, like I said last week, is achievement for me. And to be sitting on the top of the points lead right now with 7 more weeks left, if we can just keep on plucking away with these top 3s, we may have us a good run in the end with this. But it's awesome. It's a pleasure to be up here, and we'll just continue the good work and look forward to next week's coming up.
And you say being up there, you were up there by more than nearly 4 seconds at one point before the caution started flying. How in the world, first of all, did you get the car as quick as it got tonight to where you were the most dominant car all night by a tenth or so per lap?
It just shows how much hard work all the guys at Slick actually put into these things. Everybody knows me. Like Rod said, I'm not much of a sprint car guy. I couldn't really tell you what to do, but working with David and Ducharme and Logan and all the guys over there, it's just really helped me figure out these cars and, just kind of make a notebook out where we're going each place. And just if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. So just laps and clicking buttons here and there has definitely paid off tonight, and it showed.
It sure did. And, Hayden, obviously Alex Bergeron has had a stranglehold on this series for the last 2 years and nearly had a stranglehold on it for 3 years straight. Is there any pressure knowing how bad all of the drivers in the series kind of want to knock him off the top step of this thing? Is there any pressure coming from you to try and achieve that?
I feel like there is, but not really from me. But I feel like everybody out there that's kind of watching, they really never see me in a sprint car, and they see me in here and kind of like who this guy is, and he's beating the 12 car week in and week out. But there's a little pressure on there because if we were to beat him, I think it would be one of the biggest accomplishments that I've done on this game. So just once again, hard work has got to be all these rest of the weeks. Just keep on preparing, and laps is going to pay off for us.
No doubt about it. Well, Hayden, congrats on the win tonight. It was a lot of fun to watch and a pretty dominating performance.
Yeah, but before I go, I just got to thank all the guys at Slick once again for putting in the hours of testing. Like I said, it wouldn't be possible without those guys. Got to give a huge shout out to JDR Graphics for letting me drive this car. I'm pumped that we can put it in victory lane for him. Got to thank Chris Ferguson at Shop 22 Fergie for all he does. And got to give a shout out to Hayden Owenby and my cousin Addison for watching. Appreciate it. And everybody at the broadcast and iRacing for putting this on.
All right, Hayden Cardwell, your winner tonight from the Fairbury American Legion Speedway, his first ever in the Sprint Car Series. And next up, we will talk to the driver that finished up second here tonight, and that is Mr. Braden Eiler. Braden, man, a great night for you. Just didn't seem like you quite had the speed to keep up with Hayden. He was nearly picture perfect, not making many mistakes, and there was a couple moments out there tonight when I thought you might have been going upside down, hitting that right rear off the wall.
Yeah, the beginning of that, I really couldn't get in a 3, and then finally I kind of got clear of Cole and Logan, and I started doing what Hayden was doing, just running that slider line there in 3 and 4 up to the cushion, catching that grip there in the center of the corner, and that was really working for me most of the race. It definitely slowed down by the end, but it was kind of in the way enough to where it could be a good defending line if I needed to use it. But Hayden was really fast, and I thought I was keeping even a little bit, but he was already too far gone, and then he started searching and pulled away more. So he drove a great race, and he's usually really good in these slick racetracks, so props to him.
Of course, during the offseason transition to a new technical alliance with elbows up, this is your first top 5 of the organization. Now, with a great finish with this, how do you try and look to build momentum for you in that organization to continue this on forward to get yourself back to win our top 5 championship run?
Yeah, Tyler's been really fast the first 2 weeks, and Fairbury's typically not his forte for tracks, but he held up really strong this year here. But yeah, it's kind of a repeat of last year, really. First 2 weeks just kind of seemed like a wash, and just wasn't really good, and was missing something. And then here we are, week 3 at Fairbury again, and we're making a comeback, putting it on the podium again. Last year was a really good race here, and this year, we rebounded again, and hopefully we can keep this momentum going and get some of these other guys up to speed more.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, Braden, you came in tonight 12th in the points, and you have a couple of guys with just having some absolutely terrible runs or not even making the show. Tim Ryan, James Edens, Adam Elby, just a couple of guys that didn't quite have the night they were hoping for. Last year, you kind of came on strong at the end of the 2020. This is 2020 and 21 season, but now here in points race 3. You have a podium finish. Do you think that maybe getting hot right now, do you think you could maybe jump up into the top 5 by the end of this thing?
I'd love to, but we're going to keep plugging away at it, and I know there was a couple races last year where I definitely could have performed better, and I did, and they just kind of got away from me, but we'll try to go get better there and see what we can do and move up in this point standings here.
All right, Braden, well, nice job on the second place. We'll see you next week at Eldora.
Yeah, it's like to say thank you to everybody at Elbows Up, Wicked Energy Gum, everybody at all the sponsors over there. There's a lot. Just Roofco Indy, Ryan Hergott over there, and thanks everybody for putting the show on.
All right, Braden Eiler, the driver out of Franklin, PA, finishes second here tonight at Fairbury, and in third, it is the two-time defending series champion, Alex Bergeron. Alex, I got to ask, some close calls here tonight, not only in the feature, but you and I believe it was Tim had a close call in the heat race. Coming into tonight, it seemed like maybe one of the key points to being successful here is just keeping your nose clean, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's in the heat race. It was very tight. Tim didn't give me much room there, and I had to slow down a lot for him so we don't wreck. And I had the room to go up top there in the heat race and made a move for second. So I was able to start 6th in the feature, and our car was good. Just made a wrong gear choice, and it was super hot up top. But it made us get out to the pack there and kind of pull away a bit from 4th place. So it was a good and a bad decision at the same time, but really 3rd place here, it sets the championship pretty good. For me and Cardwell, we're the only guys with 3 top 5s, so it's pretty good.
You mentioned the gear change in needed potentially as well. Overall, though, what does it really take to try and get in the right mindset for this type of race? Because it can get physical here, to say the very least. It got physical, especially in the heart of the pack.
Yeah, it really did, but it's all about keeping the car alive and keep the championship alive. And you can't really not make a feature. I mean, if you do, you're gonna be really further back. and in the future you can't really have a bad run. So really got to keep your car together, and every top 5 runs and every top 3 runs is incredible because anything can happen to the other guys and to myself too. So anything can happen, and being in the top 5 every race is important. So that's the mindset I think every week, especially after not a bad qualifying run again this week, but Cardin stuck in 3 and 4, and we didn't get a good lap in. So, next week we're going to Eldora. It's going to be a bigger track, and I feel like we really have a shot there.
Well, Alex, I kind of asked Hayden the same type of question. He kind of feels, if he was feeling the pressure of trying to knock you off the top of this championship, are you feeling the pressure from obviously other drivers and maybe some people that don't even race in the series? Is there that pressure that is behind you, knowing that there's a lot of people that want to see you not succeed this year?
Absolutely not. I'm here to win, and that's what we're going to do.
All right, Alex, great job tonight, man. We'll see you next week at Eldora.
Thank you. I got to thank all those partners in the Team EBRE Sports, Rebecca and Jason. I got to thank also Brendan Schultz for having me again this week and get a car dialed in with Jason. I really got to thank him for that. All of our partners, CSI Shocks, Logic App, BK Designs, Wiring Frame Equipments, and everybody that supports us. My dad for watching as always. You guys for doing an awesome job in the broadcast booth, and we love Outlaws and iRacing for putting a series up. It's a pleasure to be here, and can't wait to be here back next week.
All right, Alex Bergeron, we will see him next week at Eldora Speedway. And actually, let's talk to our 4th place finisher here tonight as well. It's Kendall Tucker, the 00 car, had a great run. Started 11th tonight, Kendall, and ran her up to a solid 4th place run. And now moving back up forward in the championship standings, came in tonight 7th, and with a couple guys having a bad run in front of you, might move up into the top 5.
Yeah, it was definitely not a bad run at all. Just we definitely don't feel comfortable up top here yet, that's for sure. So it definitely showed in the heat race. Just got drove around on the top by 2 guys, and it's just unfortunate, really. Just instead of starting 3rd, or just had to start 11th. But we just had to be patient, and work our way up through the field. The bottom to middle, it was pretty good. For the most part of the race, it kind of faded there the last 10 laps or so. But overall, the track raced a lot better than I expected, and my finishing results definitely a lot better than I expected to.
Your RP5, by the way, to confirm 172 total points scored on the campaign, but it's been a kind of different feel. You've had the pace, you've had some of the top 5s, but at the same time, it hasn't been, so to speak, cut and dry. How would you compare this season's start compared to how you started last campaign off, where you finished P4 in the standings?
Honestly, besides our week 1, 19th place, we was running 4th at the time. We got into the wall right there, and I think we probably could have definitely head on to a 3rd or 4th right there. So without that mistake right there, I think we would be right there, battling for the points lead. Just we've had this thing. The qualifying pace has been good. I can't really ask for much more from that aspect. Just the track conditions didn't really play into my favor. When it came to Heat 3, just hopefully we can keep qualifying this thing inside the top 4 and getting the pole position in the heat races. That's definitely big time. When you can start your night off pretty good with a good lap time. So we'll just try and keep following that formula, and keep plugging off these top 3s and top 5s, and hopefully we'll get a win before long.
Kendall, not a very good night at all for the rest of the teammates. You were the only one inside the top, it looks like 15 here tonight, and a couple of guys making contact with each other. How do you go back to the team meeting after this, or whatever you guys do at Swindell Speed Lab, and kind of get everybody's hopes back up and calm people down after what we saw tonight?
Honestly, everybody's been talking, in the Discord already. It's just that the racing deal, was just really unfortunate, with a couple of the guys there. But this Fairbury is definitely probably the toughest track on the schedule, without a doubt, in my opinion. So you kind of gotta expect some bad luck and some bad things to happen to you here. But I know that the guys, will put in more work next week, and I got faith in those guys. They'll be back up front where they belong.
All right, sounds good, Kendall. Thanks, man. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, man, I just got to thank Swindell Speed Lab and Bear Archery and K1 Race Gear and Ammo Performance, and thanks to all the guys at iRacing and World of Outlaws, for letting us race on this platform. We really appreciate it, and thanks to you guys for the broadcast. See you next week.
All right, that is Kendall Tucker. He finishes up 4th tonight and moves himself up to 5th in the point standings. Justin, it was a wild one here tonight. It looked like this thing was going to go green to checkered, but unfortunately had a couple cautions at the end, but it didn't matter. Hayden Cardwell was easily the dominant force here tonight.
Yeah, wicked quick to say the very least. Only driver to set a lap time when the track was its freshest for the feature race in the 11-second bracket. When we had that long green flag run, there were times where he was 2-3 tenths quicker than the cars behind. If anything, the restarts allowed some opportunities for the drivers to try and react and try and see what they can pick up on. But the difficult part is there's a decent amount of big tracks coming up when it comes to not just outdoor, but some of the other tracks in Cardwell's wheelhouse, like Lernerville, like Weedsport, where he's been quick. It's going to be a difficult next couple weeks if you want to try and keep up with the 22.
That's for sure, but we do know that Alex Bergeron is going to be keeping a close eye on him no matter what as we take a look at the rest of the schedule. Next week, next Monday night, we head to Eldora Speedway, the Big E. Then we go to Lernerville Speedway and Weedsport Speedway, the two newest tracks on iRacing as far as the dirt racing goes. Then Limaland. So four small racetracks in a row right there with Lernerville, Weedsport, Limaland, Kokomo. Then we ended off with 2.5 miles at Williams Grove and the dirt track at Charlotte. So a pretty diverse schedule. And now let's take a look at the points after tonight.
And just what I was talking about a little bit there with a bit of the shuffling, Cardwell, well, this is rather, I think, the points entering tonight's race, rather. The points after tonight have seen a big-time shuffle, to say the very least, where Cardwell was able to build up a bit more of a cushion as a result with 225 points. Bergeron has 217 points at the moment. That's an 8-point separation. Cooper, though, jumped to 3rd. Tucker, as mentioned, jumped to 5th. Show and Eiler jumped to 6th and 7th. The biggest thing, Eden's dropped to 9th in the point standings after tonight by missing the feature. That may be the turning point where it takes them out of contention for the championship itself. It's not over yet if you want the top 5, though. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, you heard those guys, a couple of them in the top 3 interviews, that you have to make every feature if you want to win this championship. There's no off weeks. 10 weeks straight, you have got to be in the show, and more than likely, you've got to end up inside the top 5. So, and we've only got 2 guys now that have ran the top 5 every single race. That's Cardwell and Bergeron. So they have, become, kind of they've been kind of spearheading, I guess, the top of this championship standings now. Nick Cooper obviously running in 3rd, but he's only got 1 top 5. So really, you got to run in the top 5, and those 2 guys are the only ones that can do it right now.
And it, again, shouldn't be surprising, right? Because if you follow along with some of the leagues across the iRacing service, those 2 drivers have finished 1-2 several times, especially in recent months where Cardwell really put in a ton of work to learn and try and figure out the sprint car. Don't be shocked to see them battle back and forth, I think, at Eldora even, to where we may see Cardwell be strong to start, but the main thing's going to be as well, though. When we seen the first couple races of the big tracks, it was Bergeron who was able to control the bottom of the racetrack a lot of those races. If that happens again, he might be difficult to stop in that one. From that point on, though, I think it's wide open.
Well, we'll have to wait and find out till we get to Eldora Speedway next Monday night, right here on DirtVision.com. My name is Chase Rodman for Justin Prince and Tyler Maxson. We'll see you next week for round number 4 of the iRacing.com World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car World Championship Series. Good night, everyone.